Hello everyone and welcome to today's Chrissy B Show. On tonight's programme we're going to be focusing on how to help you better look after your health because, as you know, prevention is better than cure. And according to Sane Mental Health website, they say that a healthy lifestyle means enjoying yourself without risking your health. It also means stopping or reducing as much as possible things that are not healthy, such as smoking or abusing other drugs. And also being physically and mentally healthy in your day-to-day life helps make all the difference and can include eating and drinking healthily, being physically active in your daily life, sleeping well, managing stress, staying in touch with others, and stop smoking or cutting down. So what we'll be covering on today's programme? First of all, we'll be clearing up the confusion about healthy and unhealthy fats. We'll be discussing how to best prepare yourself for this year's flu season. And lastly, we'll be educating our viewers on the much talked about seasonal affective disorder and how the difference, what the difference actually is between having SAD and the winter blues. We'll also be showing you some simple and fun things you can do to help yourself stay healthy. Plus, I'll be sharing with you my top tips on how to enjoy the colder, darker days. But first, here's our resident GP, Dr. Rob Hicks, to guide us step by step on what cholesterol is and how it can be reduced. Welcome to the show, Rob. How are you?
I'm feeling very fit, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Because you look after your health, don't you?
Well, I try and practice what I preach, which isn't always easy. You know, there are areas of my life that I could improve on, exercise, for example. But you know, it's a bit rich if a doctor advises somebody to do something
and they're not doing it
and
themselves,
they don't do it themselves. So you know, as you say, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to start off with cholesterol. So first of all, what is it?
Well, cholesterol is a fat, and cholesterol over the years has got a bit of a bad name because, you know, too much cholesterol damages the inside of the arteries and it results in heart attacks and strokes. But we do need a little bit of cholesterol because cholesterol, you know, the fat is a good source of energy. It's a good source of essential fatty acids. It helps to absorb certain vitamins like A, D and E into the body. It also cholesterol is involved in cell formation, the formation of some hormones, for example. So we do need some, but like in everything in life, we don't need too much of it. And you know, people will be aware of the, you know, good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Well, we like good cholesterol because that helps, you know, keep bad cholesterol and levels of cholesterol in the blood at healthy levels. What we don't like is the bad cholesterol, because if there's too much of that, it's called LDL cholesterol, it gets dumped on the artery walls. That causes narrowing of the arteries, which means the blood can't get through effectively. And the end result is if the blood vessel gets blocked, you get a heart attack or you get a stroke.
And is that why it's called the silent killer? Because you don't really see until it's too late. That's
right, because you don't really get any symptoms of high cholesterol, which is why we go on and on and on about being checked, having a blood test for their cholesterol levels, and indeed to measure their levels of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, because it's not just about cholesterol per se. You want to have high levels of good, low levels of bad. Okay,
so tell us where can we find the good fats and what should we avoid?
Yeah, well, the advice that if you think about fats, they fall into two groups, scientifically called, you know, saturated fat. Put simply, that's the fat that comes from animal foods. So meat and dairy foods. It's also, as I say to my patients, it's in the foods we love to eat. Biscuits, cakes, pastries and donuts. So we should all be reducing our overall fat consumption, but particularly those foods. We like unsaturated fats. They're the ones that are found in oily fish, they're in nuts and seeds, and you'll find them in oils and spreads that are made with, you know, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil and olive oil. So all those healthy things. So nobody is saying that we can't have foods with saturated fat in them, because if you say that to somebody, they're unlikely to take that on board. But what we want to do is reduce saturated fat and replace it with moderate amounts of the unsaturated fats.
So are you is it okay to have lots of the unsaturated fats? You can't have like too much, for example.
No, you can have plenty of oily fish, and you want to be careful with nuts because actually they're quite calorific. But you know, a handful of nuts as a snack is a very good idea. And there's been a lot of confusion around what people can and can't have. And the bottom line is, you know, you with the saturated fats, the things in biscuits and cakes and things, you have these every now and then. but you have more often the unsaturated. And how do you make that change? Well, a simple way is to switch things like butter, lard and ghee when you're cooking, or actually replace that with the healthier spreads. If you're thinking of choosing meat, red meat, cut off the fat before you eat it.
That's the best bit though, isn't it?
Well, that's the trouble. And, it's like chicken skin. Get rid of the skin off chicken as well. So it's those sorts of things. And replace the dairy food, the full fat dairy foods, with the low fat version. So low fat cheese, skim milk, that sort of thing. And in time, it actually becomes just normal habit rather than a bit of a chore. But it's very important to remember that fat and heart disease, and isn't just fat. As you said in the introduction, we need to be active. We need to not smoke. We need to only consume alcohol in moderation. We need to keep stress under control. So it's very important that people don't get stressed about the fat message. And make sure they enjoy the foods and that they choose the healthier options.
If someone already does have high cholesterol in there, but it's really bad, is there something that maybe faster that they can do? Because will changing their diet make all the difference, or is there anything else that they'll need to do? Yeah,
that there are. Obviously, they can lose a bit of weight, and that will help. They can change their diet. I mean, we've got medicines. Obviously, the most common ones that are prescribed are the statin drugs, but you've also got the rice yeast products, which are have been shown to lower cholesterol. They're very, very popular in China, for example, and you can get supplements of those in the UK. And there are, of course, spreads that have got things called plant sterols and stanols in them, components that are also been shown in research to lower cholesterol. Porridge oatmeal is very helpful in lowering cholesterol. So start the day with a bowl of nice warm porridge, for example. So there are lots of different ways that you can incorporate these foods into your diet so that you don't feel that you're missing out. And actually, they're really tasty.
Yeah, definitely. Rob, you're going to stay with us. But first, we do have a lovely recipe from Hannah Richards, which is her secret hot chocolate. Let's take a look at this.
Welcome to the MTS Kitchen. My name's Hannah Richards, and today I'm going to share with you my secret hot chocolate recipe. It's a great recipe when you want something sweet, when you get that mid-afternoon dip, or you just want to be a little bit indulgent, but you don't want all those E numbers and chemicals that all those other products have got in them. First of all, I'll take you through the ingredients. So we've got some raw chocolate here. This is some cinnamon. This is what cinnamon root looks like. Then I've got some dark chocolate drops, and then we've got some prunes and some desiccated coconut. To make the hot chocolate a little sweet, you can use different flavorings. I'm going to use a little bit of vanilla extract today, which is in any type of bottle from your supermarket. But actually all it is vanilla pod, and this is what the vanilla plant looks like. You can buy them from any supermarket, and all you need to do is rip it open and scissor it up to add into your hot chocolate for that flavouring. So measure your milk out into your mug, and I'm using almond milk only because I like the sweetness of it. And I'm just going to put a third of the mug into the pan to start with and get some heat going. Then I'm going to take my raw chocolate here, and I'm just going to spoon 2 dessert spoons into the chocolate. I'm satisfied with that. So now I'm going to start adding a little bit more milk. Slowly pour the rest of the milk in. So let's start with our cinnamon. And I'm just going to just about that much, 1/4 teaspoon. And whisk at every point, because then you're sure to get a really smooth consistency to it. So now I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, just a teaspoon. This really does add some significant flavour to a hot chocolate or anything, so really don't overdo the vanilla. So all I'm going to do is take 2 prunes, sprinkling those prunes into that hot chocolate. Now, as I said, if you don't like prunes, add some dates or some figs. And I'm going to sprinkle some desiccated coconut on the top and throw in a couple of chocolate drops. Now, let's get on the sofa.
Thank you very much, Hannah. That looked absolutely lovely. Now, next up, we'll be exploring how each and every one of you can prepare for the fast approaching flu season. Plus, later on in the show, I'll be sharing with you my top tips on how to help you mentally prepare for the winter. We'll be right back, only here on The Chrissy B Show. Hi, I'm Chrissy B and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back everyone, and if you've just switched to this channel, we're discussing in more detail how you can better look after your health. Just before the break, we examined healthy and unhealthy fats and how to reduce your cholesterol, and now we're going to look at how you can prepare for the fast approaching flu season. Actually, I've seen lots of people with flu already snivelling around me. My husband's got it. Help!
He'll have man flu, won't he?
Oh, yeah. The whole worworld stops when he's got
Everything
flu.
stops. Nothing can be done to see him.
Gets really needy, bless him, but he's recovering.
As long as he's recovering, that's important.
Yeah,
he needs
yeah,
lots of TLC.
Yes,
I'm sure you need lots of tender loving care.
It's true.
A little extra dose.
Yeah. More than normal. So tell us, how can we prepare for it? Because especially when everyone around us has it and their dirty germs are everywhere. And
that's right.
What can we do?
Well, part of the thing is, it's about keeping your immune system as strong as you can. So it's the old thing, isn't it? It's not smoking, enough sleep, keeping stress under control, and a healthy, balanced diet and lots of activity. That will give your body the best chance of fighting the flu virus should it come your way. The other ways of actually making sure that you reduce your chances of getting the flu, of course, is washing your hands frequently throughout the day, because when people do cough and sneeze and they're impolite and they spray it everywhere, the virus can live on hard surfaces like tables, computer keyboards, that sort of thing, for up to about 48 hours. Yeah. So if you then touch that, and you should touch your nose, your mouth or your eyes, you're going to infect yourself with the virus, which is why we encourage people to wash their hands. If you do have the flu, then please have disposable tissues around and make sure that you cough or sneeze into them. And then you wash your hands immediately afterwards, after you've disposed of the tissue. Yeah. If you're out and about and actually if you've got the flu, you're unlikely to be out and about, but if you should be around outside coughing and sneezing and you haven't got tissues, then just sneeze into the crook of your elbow so that you're not spreading that virus around. And of course, vaccinations, the flu jab, is recommended for a number of people each year. So in the UK, it's anybody who's aged 65 or over. Okay. And it's anybody between the ages of 6 months and up to 65 who's got a long-term health condition that puts them at risk of the complications of the flu. Okay. So we're thinking about lung disease, heart disease, kidney disease, neurological disease. So people who, if they do get the flu, are more likely to end up with pneumonia and going into hospital. And of course, pregnant women, are encouraged to have the flu vaccination as well. And now, in recent years, we're giving it to more children. Not as a needle injection, but as a nasal spray.
Oh, really?
So for children aged 2, 3 and 4, and in year 1 and 2 of school. And so for those children who need to have the flu vaccination, who are not in the at-risk groups, then they're able to have a slightly easier way by having a puff at each nostril to protect them.
Okay, that's just the one time, or they have to
Just
keep...
one,
Oh,
one
okay.
time, just one time. But
that's really
the flu
good.
jab is a one time per year,
Yeah.
and the nasal vaccination is a one time per year. And that's an important point, because somebody often says, well, I had it last year, so I don't need it again. But the flu virus is clever, it changes. So every year manufacturers, predict what the likely strains are going to be. And so if you are somebody who has had a flu jab before, then you should be having it every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you happen to already have flu, what's the best way to treat it? Not run into your GP.
No, because the bottom line is flu generally is quite a nasty infection where people get really wiped out. So, they get the fever, they get the muscle aches and the joint aches and the shivers and the chills, and they really don't want to leave home. But yes, you're right, pick up the phone to ask for advice. Don't try and get yourself down to the surgery, because you don't want to be spreading the infection. But it's rest, liquids, and over-the-counter remedies really to ease the symptoms. So it might be paracetamol, it might be ibuprofen. I'm a great fan of honey, lemon and ginger warm drinks for the sore throat. I mean, if you should be bunged up with the flu, and although it's more likely to be a cold if you've got nasal congestion.
Yeah, what's the difference between the two? What are
They're both viruses, but they're different viruses. So you've got the flu virus and you've got the hundreds of different cold viruses. And generally speaking, although it's not always easy to distinguish, the flu tends to be, you're in work in the morning, in the afternoon you're home in bed feeling miserable, because it just hits like that. With a cold, the onset of the symptoms tend to be more gradual, so you get a bit of a tickly throat, then you start sneezing, you get the runny nose, but you can generally with a cold still get on and do things.
Yeah.
We used to say about the flu, if you got the flu and you see a £20 note on the floor, you won't feel well enough even to bend down and pick it up.
Okay.
Whereas with a cold, you just grab it and say thanks very much. And hopefully go to the pharmacy and get yourself some treatment.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's great advice. So hopefully everyone will consider the flu jab as well, the nasal thing for their kids. That's really good.
Yeah, if you've been invited or you're not sure if you're in a risk group, give your doctor a call.
Okay. All right, so I'm not letting you go yet, Rob, because we're going to be talking about one more thing, which is seasonal affective disorder. And I'd like to know the difference between that and the winter blues shortly. And before that, last month, we actually did a whole show on legal killers, which you were here giving great advice as usual. And that's to help raise awareness about smoking and drinking addiction. So if you'd like to watch that, it's on our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. Now, this year, the NHS brought back their Stoptober campaign, which last year helped over 260,000 people quit smoking through their 28-day challenge. Now, events took place across the country, with the campaign visiting 10 cities throughout England. So our reporter Liana had the privilege of attending one of the Stoptober events in South London. Let's take a look at this.
Alrighty, we've got one last dance. You want to see it? Everyone together say yeah. Alright, we'll do it then.
Hi Chrissy, it's Liana here. So today we are in South London. That's right, South London, where the NHS is hosting their Stoptober campaign. Now you're probably wondering, what on earth is a Stoptober campaign? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out. Let's go take a look. Thank you, Sarah, for speaking with us today. You are the team leader for the Stoptober campaign. Could you tell us a little bit about where the idea for Stoptober came from?
So the idea from Stoptober came from Public Health England, because it's their campaign. It's basically just to try and get people to quit smoking in 1 month, to do it all together as a country, and to get everyone involved. Because if you stop smoking for 28 days, you're 5 times more likely to quit altogether. So that's where we kind of get the 28-day challenge from.
Now, tell us a little bit about your involvement with the Stoptober campaign. How did you get involved with this?
2 reasons, really. For a while, I was a smoker, gave it up because I wanted to get into athletics again. I was an athlete when I was younger, and I said, you know what, I want to get back into athletics. I gave it up, got back into athletics, made the British team for the Masters Championships, and this year got 2 world records, a gold medal, a silver, and a world bronze at the World Champs. So it was worth it for me. That was my reason, and you've got to have a good reason.
If you could tell us a little bit about what the Stoptober campaign means to you personally.
The Stoptober campaign means a lot to me because my brother got diagnosed with throat cancer last year. Hell of a scare. The family turned upside down on its head. So the emphasis on the cancer really hit home. Stoptober are out trying to stop people from smoking, to get them away from this horrible disease, you know, and it is real. I know it because I've seen it in my brother. So, you know, you think, oh, cancer doesn't really exist, and then someone gets it in your family and you go, oh my days. And also, I suffer from bipolar. Liam is my personal mentor and life coach. Doing charity events and stuff like this, it just feeds my illness and actually breaks down a lot of barriers for me. Where I would be scared to go out usually, when I'm doing this, I feel confident, I feel myself again.
So what would you say to people out there that might be suffering from any type of mental illnesses, or even, you know, they want to get involved with the Stoptober campaign and, you know, just try to get that little bit of help? What would you say to those people?
Give me a call. Nah, you know what? Have confidence in yourself. It doesn't matter how ill you're feeling or how tragic your life has become. We still have this little teeny voice in our head, and it empowers you, you know, if you believe it. If you start believing again, that's it. The cycle, it's kind of a spark, you know, and if you think you've lost your spark, talk to people, man. Talk to people who are around and love you. They'll tell you the truth. They won't be patting you going, oh, don't worry, it's fine. You know, and get out there and try and do stuff, you know, try and overcome stuff. If you can't do it in one day, do it in 1 month. If you can't do it in a month, do it in a year, because you know at the end of that year, you'll be a different person. So yeah, you know, all I can say is, you know, there is help out there, and you don't have to take loads of medication and just be like asleep all day. Just get up and do something with your life, you know, and try and be a better person. And you definitely can be, I'm proof of that.
So there you have it, guys, the Stoptober campaign taking place throughout the rest of the month. If you need more information, just log on to their website and they'll be able to provide all the details you need. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, so back to you, Chrissy, in the studio.
Thanks very much, Liana. So great campaign, Rob.
It's a fabulous campaign, and you know, it's backed with a lot of comedians, which you know, laughter is a tremendous medicine, and it's it's an uplifting thing. It's great to see it happening,
and it's just so encouraging to have so many people doing it together, because it's more motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can make a competition out of it, can't you, with your friends? If you're a smoker and you want to give up together,
really
or as a group. So it's a tremendous campaign.
Okay, well, time for a break, but as we said, after the break we'll be discussing seasonal affective disorder. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, everyone, and if you've just joined us, we're discussing in more detail on how to better look after your health. Now, earlier we examined healthy and unhealthy fats and how to reduce your cholesterol, and I've given you a few tips on how to prepare also for this year's flu season. But now it's time to explore another very interesting topic, which is seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD. So we have Dr. Rob Hicks here still with us. Hello. You've been very helpful today, Rob, staying for the whole show.
I'm glad to be helpful. That's what I like to hear. Good feedback.
Yeah, great. Okay, so seasonal affective disorder, what is it first of all?
Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is a type of depression. So it's a type of depression that occurs seasonally. So it's the same time each year. So for most people, it's somewhere between October and then it lifts March, April, spring time.
It's a long time to have it, isn't
and what
it?
people find when they've got SAD is that it's the same, roughly the same time every year that they start to feel depressed to some degree. And then the moment spring arrives, their symptoms dramatically lift,
Right.
and they feel well again. And the reason behind SAD, we don't know exactly what causes it, but most people think it's to do with a lack of sunlight exposure. So clearly, as you know, October, November, the nights are drawing in, the days are getting shorter, the symptoms develop. As spring arrives and the days get longer and you get more opportunity to be outside in the light, then of course the symptoms that lift. And the idea behind it is it affects a part of the brain, you know, called the hypothalamus, and it affects hormones. So people with SAD are producing more melatonin. That's the hormone that makes us feel sleepy.
Yeah.
And not enough serotonin, which is the feel-good, uplifting hormone. So they think that the light response to the brain causes a disruption in these hormone levels.
Now, can a person be fine the rest of, like in the spring and summer months, have no symptoms of depression whatsoever, and then get depressed because of the
Yes,
weather?
and that's exactly what helps make the diagnosis of SAD, as opposed to just clinical depression, because people will say, and it's why it takes sometimes a couple of years to make the diagnosis, because people will say, well, look, you know, the last week of October, I seem to almost overnight feel miserable and unhappy and depressed. And then once spring arrives, I feel better again. Why is that? And so, yes, you can go through spring and summer without suffering the symptoms, but then they come back again.
Because I think as well, because when I was depressed, I was depressed all the time throughout all seasons, but I noticed I would get worse when the days got darker. So I suppose for some people that are depressed anyway, it would just maybe feel worse during the winter months.
I think sometimes people mistakenly think of the winter blues as being, you know, seasonal affective disorder. I mean, the winter blues generally is what everybody goes through. You know, it's colder, there's not as much daytime, you know, there's all the sort of pressures building up to the festive season and stuff. So we all feel a little bit low and down in the dumps, but it's from time to time. With seasonal affective disorder, people feel, it's like with depression, people feel low a lot, if not all of the time.
Yeah.
They're not getting pleasure from the things that they normally would get pleasure from. Their sleep is upset. One of the things about seasonal affective disorder is we often find that people oversleep. So rather than having disrupted sleep where you can't get to sleep, people are sleeping lots and lots, and they don't want to get up. And also people find that they often put on weight because they're craving carbohydrate foods.
And they're feeling worse.
And they're piling the pounds on as a consequence with SAD. Treatments essentially are the same as for other forms of depression. So counselling in the form of cognitive behavioural therapy, antidepressants when they're appropriate, lots of exercise, for example. But the specific thing with seasonal affective disorder, if you think about what's believed to be causing it, a lack of daylight exposure, obviously get as much exposure to the daylight as you can. So get out in the daylight hours as much as possible. If you're stuck in an office, try and sit by the window, so at least you're getting the light there rather than being somewhere where it's darker. And you'll have heard of the lamps, the lights that people use, which again provide a very high intensity dose of light to help try and correct that hormone imbalance. And for many people, you know, work very, very well.
Well, Rob, I've actually put a video together of some things that I like to do when it, you know, the days are shorter and everything. And actually, with me, I love the winter months. I don't know, I don't know if it's because I came from that background in the first place. They used to really depress me, but now I find things to look forward to and actually love. I love all seasons now, actually.
Well, I think
it's really nice.
I think that's the key thing is to find positives out of the season that for some people might be negative. So use it as an excuse to go out in the day. It might be cold and it might be dim in light, but you're outside. Brisk walking, maybe going for a run, you know, doing whatever feels good, quite honestly. But the most important message I think for people, you know, with seasonal affective disorder is if you think you might have it,
get help.
Go and get some help, because what we can do is once people know that they've got it, we can start treatment a few weeks or a month or so before they like to get the symptoms, so that you can miss out the symptoms. Rather than wait until you get depressed.
Alrighty, let's take a look at this and you can give me your feedback on it, Rob. Yeah? Okay. So this is one of the things that I love to do, even when the weather seems a bit darker, the days are shorter, and I know a lot of people feel very down when the weather changes in this way, but I believe you should make the most of it because there's still lots and lots of things that you can enjoy. So one thing I like to do is to actually come here first thing in the morning. I have my table by the window. I order a nice breakfast, I have my cup of tea, I think for a while, and then I start working. So I use this place as an office sometimes. So I manage to get a lot more done because it's very calm and it's very relaxing here. Another thing I love to do is to bring some bread, leftover bread, and I feed the birds here. Sometimes they can be a little bit scary, especially when they're hungry, but it's really nice being close to nature. I also love walking, taking in the fresh air, listening to the birds. And even if it starts raining, I'm equipped with my umbrella. And even the sound of the raindrops are really nice. It's a nice noise and it's very relaxing. And as you can see, I'm wearing a very bright jacket. Doesn't mean that because the weather is darker, the days are like this, that you shouldn't wear bright clothing. A lot of people tend to wear dark clothing. They tend to kind of dress according to the mood. Maybe they're feeling a bit low and they dress according to the mood. But why don't you try wearing something bright like this? It'll brighten your day as well. And while I'm out, I don't have my phone on. I'm not talking to someone on the phone. I take in everything. So I'm mindful of my surroundings. So as I said, the sound of the birds, even looking up and just appreciating nature and the colour of the leaves and everything is just so relaxing and really good for you. And of course, even though we are approaching the winter months, but it's still important to be out and get some daylight as well. A lot of people make the mistake of just wanting to stay indoors when it's raining, when it's darker, but it's really good to actually get out and about during the day and get some sunlight too, to get some light into your life. Agree?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect way of doing of getting not just the daylight exposure, but just taking time, as you say, to enjoy what's around and notice, because so often we can't remember what we've done an hour before because we're always thinking ahead.
That's true.
And we're always thinking, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this.
Yeah.
So lucky you to switch your phone off, mind.
Now, I know people that not everyone can just go off and work for the whole day in the park or anything, but that place where I was, it opens like early in the morning. There are other places, other park cafes that open really, really early, so you can go there even before work, get a nice walk in, go have breakfast, just relax a little bit before you go to work, and it's nice.
There's no reason why we can't all go out just for 5 minutes.
Yeah, even lunchtime.
I promote 5 minutes every hour. That you take time out of your work just to relax and unwind, and you can go out for a few minutes and come back in again.
Yeah.
But it almost needs scheduling. With busy lifestyles, people need to put it on their to-do list, and if that's what it takes to get people outside and enjoying the surroundings and just taking time to take stock of things, then put it on your to-do list, and then you can tick it, put a great big tick at the end of the day and say, I did that. I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
Great idea. Rob, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again soon. Yes. Great advice as usual. All right, guys, so up next, I'll be sharing with you some more tips on how to enjoy the colder, darker days. So I'll see you in just a second. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, everyone. On tonight's show, we've been focusing on how you can better look after your physical and mental health. And throughout the show, we've had on Dr. Rob Hicks. And by the way, if you've missed the beginning of this important show, you can watch it on all our previous shows on our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show, and also subscribe to it. And today I want to give you some advice on how to mentally prepare yourself for upcoming winter and the darker days. So already spoke about seasonal affective disorder. So I have a few tips here for you. And just before I go to the tips, there's something that I'd like to highlight. Many times, sometimes the way we speak about things can affect the way that we feel about things. So for example, often we would say, I hear a lot of people saying bad weather. Just because it's raining, just because it's cold, people say the weather is bad. But why does it have to be bad? It's not bad just because it's raining. It's just different. We need the rain. We need the change of seasons. So I think if we kind of reprogram ourselves to actually even speak and think differently, it would help also our mental state. So for me, I love every single season. I love the change of seasons, and I find something special about each season. So if you find something to love about, in any kind of weather, you'll see that you'll feel a lot brighter about yourself. So let me go to the tips that I have for today. The first one is brighten your day. So in the darker days, maybe you'll be leaving your house while it's still dark, and then by the time you leave work, it's already getting dark again. So this means that you're not actually getting enough light. So as we discussed earlier, try maybe going out just for a quick walk at lunchtime, even if it's just to the corner and back, but you should try and get out and about and get some of that daylight in your life. My second point is, don't hibernate. So this one is very, very important, because sometimes when it's cold and dark, it's really, really tempting to stay at home and you curl up on the sofa, you have your hot drink, and it feels safe and warm to stay there, but you don't realize that you could actually be isolating yourself from people bit by bit. And then because you're not having that, that social interaction, you start to feel low, because we all need to be around people. We all need to communicate and love and everything like that. So if you kind of cut yourself away from everyone, bit by bit, you will start to kind of feel it. So be careful of that, and don't stop, being with people and going out with your friends and stuff. Still make sure that's part of your life. And the third point is to get moving. So don't let your exercise schedule slide just because it's cold. So when, sometimes when we're buried under layers of clothes, you don't sometimes feel like exercising very much. And then when the weather gets kind of cold and it's more difficult to kind of be outdoors, sometimes you don't even want to go for a walk, but you kind of have to push yourself to do it, because I don't know about you, but after I exercise, I feel a lot better. Sometimes I don't feel like exercising. Sometimes I don't feel like going to a certain class that I'm doing recently now. But I push myself, and I always feel better afterwards. So make sure your gym membership is up to date, or join the gym. I know most people will join gyms in January after they've stuffed themselves over Christmas, and they want to get back into shape. But even now is a good time to join, to get yourself moving and get the adrenaline pumping, and really have a goal. Actually, have a goal to get fitter this winter. So that's another option that you have as well. And actually, talking about exercise, we also have a video from Jane Rafter to motivate you.
Hi guys, welcome to your fitness tips. I'm Jane, this is Aaliyah.
Hi there, Jane.
Hi Aaliyah. We're going to talk to you today about the importance of warming up. Warming up is really important to help prevent injury. A lot of people go straight into a workout, either a hard run or a workout with heavy weights, and you're much more likely to injure yourself. In fact, there's a lot of research lately that says that the warm-up is even more important than the end stretch.
Definitely, yeah.
Warm-up that is crucial to prevent injury. We're going to give you two examples of a warm-up today. One is for the shoulders, one is for the legs. Okay, so you'll see I've got some small weights. Aaliyah is going to run through with me what I ought to do to warm up my shoulders before I do heavier weight training.
So guys, make sure when you're doing any upper body weight training, it's always important to warm up the rotator cuff, because a lot of the work comes from the rotator cuff, from the front of the shoulders. So the best way we do this, we can work with dumbbells and dyno bands. So Jane's going to be having them tucked in, and we're going to be externally rotating them outwards, just to as far as you can come, and then coming back in. That's just going to warm the front of the shoulders, the rear of the shoulders as well, as we get nice and warm. So I do this every time I have an upper body workout. I make sure I get my shoulders warm first because it's the most important part of the body where all the stress goes through is the shoulders. So that's just working into there. Then we're going to take them just in line with the shoulders with the elbows there, Jane, and we're going to rotate outwards. So we're just getting taking that movement, making sure that elbow doesn't go past body line. So just in line with the body and then rotating back into in line with the head. So that's the other exercise. Then we're going to be working, so we worked externally, now we're going to work internally. So with the Dynaband, I'm going to hold some tension through, and Jane, you're just going to be pulling in towards you. So we're working again into the front, but just changing the direction as we're moving. That's it. I'm going to release a little bit more. There you go. That's it. And you just should feel a little bit work, Jane, as you come into the rotation, coming in towards the body.
Front of the shoulder, yeah.
That's it. And these can be performed, guys, on the cables on the machines in the gyms, or if you haven't got a cable machine, you can just get a Dynaband or a couple of light dumbbells, and that will do the trick.
Yeah. They're cheap, aren't they, to buy, and they're portable as well.
Exactly. And obviously we'll be working right and left with both arms. There you go.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to show you the warm-up that I do, part of the warm-up that I do before I go for a run. If you just get out of bed in the morning and go out and run, you're more likely to pull your hamstrings or hurt your knees. You need to warm up your joints and your muscles. Do you want to do it with me, Ellen?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we take a wide stance with the legs, I'm going to do a mixture of power and stretch to get the legs nice and warm. So we're going to bend one knee, lean the chest forward, stick your bum back, come to center, keep your legs straight and lean forwards. Now this is stretching the hamstrings, and then bend the other knee and center and down. Now the importance of stretching is that you don't want to go straight into a deep stretch from cold. You want to get moving. So the advantage of this type of movement I'm doing now is it's building up the movement and the stretch, and you can go deeper into the stretches as you get a little bit warmer. So I'm just going to go, yeah, can you feel that? It really gets into the legs, doesn't it? Now we're going to change it slightly. We're going to go down to one side, hands on the thigh, and we're just going to go side to side. You need to hold on to the abs, nice deep press. You're warming up the knee joint and the thighs, stretching the muscles in the legs as well. Now, honestly, you need to warm up, I would say, for at least 7-8 minutes before you go for a run, especially when you get old like me.
But it's very true, Jane, and also we're stretching on the move, which is the most important thing. So trying to emulate what we're doing when we're outdoors as well.
Yes, because a warm-up should mimic the activity. It should be an easier version of what you're about to do. Fantastic. Okay guys, so make sure you get your warm-up in and enjoy your workouts. See you next time.
See you soon.
Thank you very much. Now, lovely people, don't think it's too late for you to start looking after your health. I have every faith that you can do it. So sadly, that's all we have time for today, but I'd just like to leave you with something before we go. Now, I've spoken about the depression that I had and how I used to feel even worse when the weather, in winter time, when the weather started to change and the days got shorter and darker. So, but as I've said, I've also had a complete turnaround where I love winter as well. It doesn't make any difference to me when the seasons change, but I know how it feels when they do. So if you need some extra advice from me, or you'd like to know how I got over depression and panic attacks and OCD and phobias and all the other things that I had, you can head over to my website, mylifeafterdepression.com. You can get in touch with me there and I'll be happy to help you. But if you'd like also to get in touch via the show website, you can do so on chrissybshow.tv. There's more information there about the program. And if you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to see us covering right here on the Chrissy B Show, do let us know. That you can get in touch there and we'll be happy to take a look at your suggestion. Also, if you'd like to tweet us, it's at Chrissy B Show, and also you can leave a comment on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Until next time, bye-bye for now. Well, time for a break, but as we said, after the break, we'll be discussing seasonal affective disorder. So don't, you went on you. Do you want him to do it? Did you see that? You should have said it. So don't go away.
Go away.